What is up, boys and girls? It is me, Razor Ivy, and today we'll be watching my Remote Worlds tournament, and it is an unranked tournament in my Go Battle circuit. It is organized by our local community, and this was done during the off season of Silph Arena. So we don't have a monthly theme, so the organizers decided that the season 1 championship will be our themed cup. So season 1 world championships uh, was a tournament where the best of the best battled. So format was you can only choose 2 out of 10 restricted picks. So it will be a diverse battle against the trainers. And what makes this interesting is that you will be thinking of your team and how it will be used against the various Pokemon your opponents will choose. So the team that I will be using consists of Swampert as my water attacker, so it runs Hydro Cannon and Sludge Wave. Linoon as my anti-flyer and anti-water, it having Grass Knot and Thunder. Now the next is Wigglytuff, anti-fighter and anti-dark. So Skarmory, I chose Skarmory as my flyer because it has good coverage against the Charmers, so that's what I was lacking, the anti-Charmers. So next up will be Hypno as my generalist. It runs Confusion Psyshock, and then Fire Punch. And lastly, I have Medicham as my anti-attack. It runs Counter, Power Up Punch, and Ice Punch. Now let us look at our opponent's team. He has Medicham, Azumarill, Umbreon, Tangrowth, Clefable, and Lantern. So what I initially thought that was Linoon will do good against his team if if he does the double water strat. And I also saw that he runs Umbreon and Medicham, so Wigglytuff is a must. And then lastly, I thought to myself, Swampert might be good in this lineup because nothing really hard counters it. So let's see the battle. So as you can see, I chose Linoon as my lead, backed up by Wigglytuff and Swampert. So here we go. He leads with the Lantern, and then we slug it out. And then I will get to a Grass Knot first because Water Gun will charge slower than the Shadow Claw. So he takes it. So we are expecting a Thunderbolt, and there it is. We will shield that because we want our Linoon to be healthy. So Shadow Claw, and then we will pick the Grass Knot because he will get to another Thunderbolt right there. So we overformed a bit so that we can have another charge attack ready for the next Pokemon, which will be Medicham. So ayan, Grass Knot, and then we will switch to our Wigglytuff. And then I expect an immediate switch to maybe a Tangrowth, and he doesn't really have a counter for the Wigglytuff, so we'll go for the charms against the Medicham. We will shield the Power Up Punch. Take note that this is pre-nerf of Power Up Punch, so it was worth shielding because it will do a ton of damage to us. So right now we are faced with one, and that's why he wasn't switching because he doesn't have a counter for the Wigglytuff. So we are chunking the Umbreon down, and then he is in the red. We are expecting a charge attack, so we throw in the Linoon to get whatever it is. So now we are having our healthy Swampert against the red Umbreon. Now we will go for the Hydro Pump, and there it is. We will take game number 1. So right now I was thinking of running the same lineup, but I chose to use the Swampert as a lead because you know it is spammy and it will probably shave off the shields of the opponent. So let's see the so against MasterGeneroso, game number 2, Swampert versus the Fable. So now we will go for the Hydro Pump spams in this game. I don't want to go for the Sludge Wave because it will be so obvious that I think he will shield it if we go for the Sludge Wave. So we are going for straight Hydro Cannons. Let's see what happens. Will this land? It will not land because it will be shielded, but we will switch to the Wigglytuff and then we are greeted by this Tangle. This will probably be a Sludge Bomb because he has Sludge Bomb, and then we will be able to shield it and we will be able to charm it down. Now what happens is he will go for the Medicham. Now I will go for the player off because if it will be unshielded it will probably be one hit KO, but he will be able to shield it. Now he will knock us down with just counters, but we have our Swampert at the back and we will take an Ice Punch. I'm not sure why he launched a charge attack again, maybe to power up his fast attacks, and that was a good choice, but he is pretty low. Now we still have a shield and we will shield the meteor match that is coming, and we will shadow him down until a grass knot is available and we will take that game. So moving on to the next game, we have Mizel0409. He runs Medicham, Venusaur, Swampert, Charizard, Frostlass, and then Wigglytuff. And I immediately thought that Hypno is good in this particular lineup, and backed up by Skarmory and Linoon. Skarmory for the Venusaur, Medicham, and Linoon for the Swampert and the Charizard and the Frostlass. So let's see the battle. Let's see how it goes. So I will lead with the against Mizel0409 and we will see his lead in a few seconds. I go with Hypno, he goes for the Frostlass, and I was pretty afraid. So I thought to myself, maybe I can slug this thing out. And then I am surprised. I'm quite surprised that I do decent damage against the Frostlass. And I just realized that it is a confusion and it is not resisted. So I thought to myself, maybe I will just fight this out against the Frostlass because I can spam the fire punches and he will take a while to go for the shadow ball again, but it is unshielded, so I was pretty surprised because he didn't shield it. Now I thought to myself, last turn or not, I will not shield it, and luckily it was a Dragon Claw, so we can let this Psyshock out. So there it is, and he didn't shield it, and I was surprised again because he not shielded. So there we have the Venusaur. Now we go for the Fire Punch because I thought that we won't be able to get to the Psyshock, and I was pretty panicking. But we have a Skarmory in the back that we can use to soak the damage that the Frenzy Plant or Sludge Bomb will do to us. So we will not shield it. I don't know why it didn't shield it. I was thinking that we can farm the Venusaur down, but he has no Pokemon left, so let's go to. So I just thought to myself, maybe Hypno was really good as a lead because nothing really counters it, and I thought to myself, it is not broken, so I fix it. So I just went for the same lineup, same lead, same team comp. So let's see what happens in the next battle. So as you can see, we have the same team composition. So against Mizo 0409, let's see what happens next. I lead with the Hypno and he leads with the Weak Off. And this is maybe a problem because the Charm will do decent damage against us. But as you can see, Confusion is doing the same damage to the Wigglytuff. The difference is we have our Psyshock as our spammy charge attack compared to the Wigglytuff who charges really slow. Now we have our Skarmory against the switched in Frostlass. He will shield it because he will need to shield it, and I am expecting a Shadow Ball, that's why I will shield this one. It's an Avalanche, so I think that's a good play because it was a mini shield plate and he will take a Sky attack. And I thought to myself, this is a Shadow Ball. No, it's still an Avalanche. So I would have been knocked out if that was a Shadow Ball, I think. Now we have Swampert switching in. Now he will get to a Hydro Cannon before we get to a Grass Knot, but we have a shield, so let's go for the Grass Knot. We won't be able to because I think he has the charge move priority, so we will take that Hydro Cannon. Now we will go for the Grass Knot against the Swampert. Let's see what happens. It knocks him down. Now we have a Linoon versus a Wigglytuff, so we will go for the Icy Beam right there, and we still have our Hypno. Will we be able to knock him out? That's an under tap right there before the update, and we will get to our Psyshock. That's game. On to the next round. So we have Clius as our opponent. He has a Blastoise, which is very interesting. It will probably run Water Gun, Hydro Cannon, Ice Beam, a Victreebel, an Altaria, a Lucario, Magnezone, and a Gallade. So I saw that maybe he has too many Steel types in his team. So let's go for the Medicham. I also thought that maybe Skarmory and Hypno is good if we aren't caught in a bad matchup, so that's what I will bring. Now let's see the battle and how it goes. So there I am furiously tapping again. Now we will go for the Medicham lead against the Lucario, and it was pretty good for us because Lucario is squishy and we can paint it down with counters, but we wanted to speed up the pace, so we will get to a feint before he will get to a Shadow Ball. So there it goes, that's the Altaria right there, and we will need to Ice Punch this thing so that we will be able to chunk it down, but he will be able to shield it. Now I swap to a Skarmory and he will go for a swap to a Blastoise. So I was not that worried because Water Gun charges are pretty slower than my Air Slash. So that's a Hydro Cannon right there, and I decided to take it because I know it won't knock me out. So let's go for the Air Slash once again. Let's see what happens. So he will shield it. Now he will be able to faint us down with just Water Guns, but I thought that he miscounted right there. So I will go for the Medicham for the energy. So we will have our Ice Punch ready by then, but he will get to a Sky attack first. So let's see what happens. That's the Ice Punch right there. That's an Ice Punch right there. So it will land, he has no shields, and we will immediately swap to a Hypno in order to paint it down quicker. So that's game number 1. So based on the results, I ended up liking my Hypno because it is a good generalist in this cup. So I will probably go for the same team, same lead, and let's see what will happen next. So tap. I will go for the Hypno lead against Altaria, so let's see what happens. So So confusion until a side shock, and he will get to a sky attack first. So I will shield that one. Let's see if he will shield the side shock. So let's see. I decided to switch out because I realized that I can't stay in there because Sky Attack will charge first. Now we will go for a Skarmory against a Magnezone, and we know that this is GG. So what happens is I won't spend the shield, I will just let the Skarmory faint. So Wild Charge, that will hurt. Let's see what happens. We will go for the Medicham right there, and we will be able to charge it with the Ice Punch and the power up punches. So let's see what happens. He goes for the Sky Attack, I will go for the straight Ice Punch, thinking that he will not shield it, but he will. So we still have an energy because we formed the Magnezone. So right there, Ice Punch, it will knock him down. So we have a Victoda, and I will get to an Ice Punch first. I wanted to switch to a Hypno for faster knockout, so that's it. And I think that maybe he should form a little bit in the Magnezone for doing the. Moving on to our next battle, we have xtianbiker with his Umbreon, Skarmory, Swampert, Tropius, Fortress, and the Lapras. So I was thinking maybe he will run the double flyer strat because he has a Skarmory and the Tropius. So I thought to myself that I will go for the Skarmory, backed up by the Medicham and the Rhino. So let's see what happens. So I will lead with the Skarmory, backed up by the Medicham and the Rhino. So let's see. Skarmory versus Swampert. I don't like this matchup. So air slashes, and he will get to some number of hydro cannons. And what we will do is we will take it, and then we will immediately swap to our line name. So I thought to myself, I'll take it because he will probably bring out a counter or a soft counter, but there it goes, the Tropius. So we will go for the Thunder because it will hit neutral as opposed to the Grassnut who is double resisted by Tropius. So we will take the Leaf Blade, and we will bring out our Skarmory, and I'm pretty satisfied by this setup because we can farm the Tropius down with just air slashes. So he lets out an aerial ace. So we will just go for the farm right there. And whatever it is that is coming out will take a Sky Attack, and it is a Skarmory. So let's see what happens. We will swap to the Medicham because in a 2 shield scenario, Medicham will win this. Plus, his Skarmory has already taken damage. So let's see what happens. We will shield this, of course, because we will be one shot, or we will be taken down low by the Skarmory. So he brings out the Swampert, and I'm pretty glad because we can spam the power up punches while doing the counters, which will take this Swampert down low. So power up punch, we shield it. He will shield it, and we will go for that swap to take Hydro Cannon because we need that Medicham to live in order to paint out the Skarmory. So that was a nice switch to take the Hydro Cannon. So power up punch right there, and will we go for the feint? Yes, he won't be able to get to a Sky Attack, and I was pretty nervous that time. So what ran into my mind was he was using double flyers, and I thought to myself, my lineup was good, and I think he will go for the double flyer again, and that was some dumb thinking because he might change his lineup because he saw that I am good with that lineup. Now I was just brain dead and I wasn't really thinking because I was intimidated by him. He is a good player. So let's see what happens next. I will still lead with the Skarmory backed up by the same Pokemon, Medicham and Linu. So I am furiously tapping because I was so nervous. And here it goes. Skarmory versus Swampert. I thought to myself, maybe this is a replay. This a replay? So I will do what I did last time. So I will swap to the Linoon right there. So Shadow Claw, Shadow Claw. Again, I thought to myself, is this a replay? Maybe it is, maybe it is not. But let's go, let's go. He switches to the Skarmory. I will go for the Thunder and I expect a shield and it is shielded. So let's go for this Grass Knot. I want him to think that this is a Thunder and let's see what happens. Yes, we did good. We predicted it right, but right now he has tons of energy and that is where we made a mistake. We swapped in the Medicham. So I wasn't paying attention to his energy, so we literally just wasted 2 shields for this power up punch. So it's not worth it. It wasn't worth it. So we will switch to the Skarmory. We should have swapped to the Skarmory first than the Medicham. So let's go, let's go. So we are greeted by this Umbreon, so we will go for the Sky Attack spams, but as you know, Snarl was buffed and Umbreon is just a monster when you have no shield. So let's see what happens. Foul play right there, it will knock us out, and another foul play right there is ready for our Medicham. So what we should have done here was we should have not clicked on the power up punch because we can farm Umbreon down, I guess, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you think. So there is the foul play and there is the swap to the Skarmory, who is ready for a Sky Attack. So GG, game number 2. GG Sir Christian. So on to the last. So what happened was I was really scared of the double flyers. So I thought to myself, maybe he will swap to the double flyer again, and I neglected that Umbreon pick. We should have went for the Wigglytuff, but I thought to myself, maybe Medicham can do the work. So let's see what happens to that. So we have our Medicham right there and his Skarmory. We all know that this is a losing matchup now because of the updates. We won't be able to paint the Skarmory down because Power Up Punch got nerfed. And now we are still trying to punch it out, punch it out, punch it out. And then he won't shield it. Now we want to spend the last shield because we want to knock this Skarmory out. I will go for the power up punch right here, expecting him to shield. Let's see what happens. We hit the excellent, but he does not shield. So I was pretty bad because he still has 2 shields and I have none left. So let's see what happens. He has his Swampert and I was relieved because we can wither his Swampert down with counters because we are powered up, and maybe we could have gotten to a power up punch, but I think not. I think it was better if we just went for the straight mud shots. Now we have Linoon against tons of energy Swampert. Now he swaps to Umbreon, and I thought to myself, maybe we should have gone for the grass knot instead of the thunder because it will charge up faster. See what happens. We have foul play Umbreon and we don't have shield left. So if you don't have a shield and your opponent has snarl and foul play, you will be GG. You will be real GG down. So sky attack. We won't be able to do damage. And I was thinking we should farm this Umbreon down if we want to go for the kill on the next Pokemon, but we go down simultaneously, so we don't have any options left. That is it, boys. Thank, thank you, Sir Christian. The last match, we have juliuswhodat with his friendly champs, Skarmory, Swampert, Gonzong, and Charizard. And now I thought to myself, Linoon would be good against his team because he has Shadow, Claw, Grass Knot, and Thunder. Now we have our Hypno as the generalist because he doesn't really have a counter. And lastly, we want Swampert for that Charizard and Lantern. Plus, he is very spammy. So we will see what happens to this match. So I am furiously tapping because I am very nervous. So Linoon versus the Swampert. So I remember seeing King's video. It has Linoon and the Swampert the same matchup and the Linoon wins. So I was pretty confident at this point and I thought to myself I can go for this feint against the Swampert. So Hydro Cannon, we will shield it again. He will shield this Grass Knot because if not, he will be taken down. So he shields it now. He will be able to take one Hydro Cannon right here. So let's see what happens. Hydro Cannon, and I was expecting to go for that Grass Knot, but I don't know if I just overtapped right there because I was pretty confident that I will win this matchup. Now we will go for the Hypno. So he will use the confusion to wither it down, but he will get to another Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon right there. Now we will have decent energy for the next Pokemon. See what happens. It is a Bronzong, and luckily we have our Fire Punch right here and it is ready. So our generalist is doing good with his Fire Punch. Then he takes it because he has no shields left. So let's see what happens. Psyshock right there. I will go for the Swampert, and now that was a good switch on his end because he knows that I will just bank energy if he doesn't switch out. So Hydro Cannon right there. Now we will go for this next attack, but he will be able to get to one charge attack which will be Thunderbolt. Now we will go for the Sludge Wave. Now what I was thinking is maybe we should have gone for the Mud Shot energy back in order to go for the Hydro Cannon, but it is what. So moving on to the next match, I thought that maybe we will still go for the same lineup because the Pokemon were really strong, the Hypno, Linoon, and the Swampert, and I really like the lineup, so we won't change a thing. So let's see what happens in the next game. Now we will still lead with the Hypno, backed up by the Swampert and the Linoon. So Hypno versus the Medicham, this is favorable for us because we resist the counters and we can tank those ice punches and power up punches. So that's a power up punch for the first attack. Now we will go for the Psyshock just to damage this Medicham, and he shields it. So I think if it were me, I won't shield it, but it is his gameplay. So let's see what happens. Now that's a powered up ice punch right there. So let's see what happens. I was thinking that this is pretty fast. This is a power up punch, and I was correct. So now we have our Psyshock ready. Will he shield it again? He won't shield it. So now I'm preparing for the next Pokemon. What will it be? It will be a Bronzong again. So he wanted to farm us down, but we will get to a fire punch first. So it is super effective, and we are up a shield. So let's see what happens. I will go for the Swampert because I want to spam as much skills as possible, and or maybe farm. So that's a gutsy move right there for us to shield. I not to shield the Psyshock. So let's see what happens. He is down to 0 shields. Now we have our Linoon at the back, and we have 2 shields. We will use the first shield against this Hydro Cannon, and we will use another shield because we want to keep our Linoon healthy for that Bronzong. So Grass Knot right here against the Swampert. It will knock him down because he is very weak against it. Now we can Shadow Claw this Bronzong down, but we choose to play safe. Let's go for the Grass Knot right here. Grass Knot. And then if he takes it, he will probably faint because he's in the red, and there is game number 2. So I thought to myself, maybe the lineup was really good against his team, so I will go with the same lineup. We will go with Hypno, Linoon, and Swampert. This time around, I was really appreciating that Hypno because he is really good here if he has no counters on the enemy team. So Hypno versus the Lantern. I thought to myself, maybe we can slug it out with this Lantern because we will get to these Psyshocks first before he gets to the Thunderbolts. So there's an excellent Psyshock right there. I was thinking of not shielding it. So there's a Thunderbolt, we can tank it. Now we will go for the Psyshock again. Psyshock. Ground Psyshock. So there it is. We can confusion him down, but he lets out a Thunderbolt. Now we will go for this Swampert to earn energy. Now we have tons of energy that we can use against this Medicham. So there is the first Hydro Cannon, and he will take it. And this is a power up punch, and I was not wanting to shield that, so we won't shield that because that's the first power up punch, and it got nerfed. So Hydro Cannon right there against the Medicham. Hydro Cannon. Now we will shield this one because we want to go for this next Hydro Cannon, and he switches out to the Swampert. I will switch out to the Linoon right here. We can take one Hydro Cannon. Let's see what happens. We won't risk it because we want this Linoon to be healthy against the Medicham. So right here we can see Linoon doing work. Now we can feint this Medicham down with just fast attacks. Right there, a power up punch, but we can Shadow Claw him down, but we have Grass Knot ready. Of course, we will choose the better option of launching the Grass Knot. So there it is, my World's Tournament, guys. Thank you for staying at the end until the end of the video. So please do like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much, and I will see you guys on the next video. PS, thank you for the battles, my opponents, and guys, I hope you learned a lot today. So that's it. Goodbye.